Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Paul Verderosa, Andy Serling, as we kick off another week here at Aqueduct, and it is pouring out.
Yeah, another week, more rain, but it's not snow, and it's warmer out. So
yes,
those are two positives.
Yes, we're inching towards spring.
Yeah.
I mean, we're theoretically less than a month away from turf racing, so,
looking forward to that.
It's all good.
No doubt.
Theoretically, the worst is behind us, but it is rainy today and expected to rain a lot of the afternoon. So we're dealing with a sloppy sealed track. They should have sealed left up there.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's sealed.
I would think
they
it is
should
too.
definitely add that. Let's head over to Nairobets. Nairobets.com. Use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match to $200 of your initial deposit. We have $75 or more on Oaklawn and Turf Paradise, $15 bonus. We're showing a couple from Turf Paradise, and of course Oaklawn as well. Opt in for that over at Nairobets. Cross Country Big Five, Eddie? Oh, you're excited. 2 at Aqueduct, 3 at Oaklawn. All of those races will be shown on America's Day at the Races from 3 to 6 on FS2. Race number 1, we'll take a look at Tactical Track Star 2 races ago at Saratoga, breaking his maiden, a race where Linda Rice claimed this horse from Brad Cox. She came back a little over a month later against significantly tougher, didn't do any running whatsoever, and now shows up for $12,500. But to be fair, she only paid $20 for the horse, but, she's also got money into this horse. So you're talking about a horse that, she's going to take a licking if this horse, even if the horse wins, because I think there's a good chance to be claimed, but I'm not sure this horse will be claimed. What about you?
I don't know, and to me, I kind of feel like this is most likely now the proper placement for this horse. It's just a question of whether or not now they're going to claim the horse, because honestly, something obviously went wrong August 28th. That horse was just wide from the start after breaking out and just did not want any part of even moving inside. So did a little running late in there, significantly better, comes back today, draws outside. You figure this horse is going to be forward in this spot if this horse is good, if this horse has some run. So when I put it together, just looking at everybody else in here, I guess the biggest question is, do you think that this horse is going to run back to some significance of that maiden race?
No, I disagree. I disagree completely. I think this horse runs either the first or third race. This horse is still probably the horse to beat in this race. You've probably looked, this is not a very good field. So this horse doesn't have to run anywhere near the maiden race to win this race. This horse can win.
I guess the question is if you think this horse, is the 2 going to pester this horse, let's just say?
Isn't the question it always is?
Always.
Is this
horse?
It's
just whether or not we're going to find out. That'll be the answer.
Question of every horse you pick on, is it worth the price?
Yeah. Well, this horse is going to be
short. This horse is going to be very, very short, and you have to ask yourself if you trust taking this horse at a short price. But I mean, even if you look at it, and I think you make a good point. This horse was claimed for 20. Where is this horse really supposed to be running? This is basically where he's supposed to be running. So I don't see it as a massively negative drop down. I did look up some stats. 6 to 8 month layoffs in dirt sprints. Linda has good numbers. She's 19%, $1.82 ROI. The smaller sample, second off the claim, she's 0 for 5, where 2 hit the board and every one of them was a short price. It's not much of a sample size, so I don't want to get too carried away with it. Having said that, she's done it 5 times and hasn't any success, and this is a trainer who wins.
Right.
Especially with drop downs.
Yeah.
And layoffs.
And we know that she's not afraid to do this, with horses. So you would think that stat would be a little bit better. But when you start to pick apart the rest of the field, honestly, are there other horses, other than the 4 for me anyway, that you can actually kind of gravitate to or lean on?
Well, obviously I like the 4, but the other thing is I don't know where the hell that 85 buyer came from, because it doesn't seem to be a race that you could possibly there's no way you can expect this horse to ever run that number again. So how did that horse run that number that day? As far as Magny, you got a horse coming back as a new gelding. Looking up some numbers, turning back at Naira, nothing really special for Charlie Baker. But this horse is taking a significant drop for Charlie. Has enough back races that are fast enough to win this race. Charlie's barn's gone well. He was on a dead rail last time. Time before that in December, he was at least involved in a pace against a much tougher field that fell apart. I think this horse makes a lot of sense, especially if, like me, you don't want to bet on the 7.
Yeah, that was the other horse for me, was the 4 in the spot when you picked it apart.
All right, see what happens in race number 1. Race number 2, I had liked Ridgewood Runner, who scratched out of this race. You're going to take Bourbon Day, who is obviously the horse to beat.
Yeah, looking at this horse's last race, coming out of the Queens County, there's nothing really he could do. He got wiped out at the start. Him and Kinetic took some wicked bumps together in that spot, and yet he was still able to make a little bit of a move into that race. It's just that he couldn't keep up with the top 2 runners after that, and Full Screen did get a perfect trip in there, too, behind whatever pace was in that spot. So For me, finally, 2 starts back, got a fast track and aggressive ride. He ran exceptionally well, got a good number here, and I think he just projects well today behind horses like Film Star in here, and also the 4 that have a little bit of speed. And if he gets
he doesn't have any speed. That's a problem. I think they're going to have to be super aggressive.
Yeah,
with him.
I mean, he's going to have to lay closer to the 2 horses that are in front of him in that spot. But I think if he gets out of the gate well and doesn't have any problems today, he runs well over and off track. I just think today would be a better day for him, as long as he can get out of there clean, especially
he's
against
going to be an enormous favorite, I would assume.
I mean, I think Winstock might actually. I think David's right. I think Winstock might take some money in here.
I don't agree with David's line. I firmly don't agree with David's line. If I agreed with David's line, I would have picked the 3 over the 5. I'll be shocked if the 3 is not a. I'll put it this way: if the 3 is a bigger price than the 5, it means that Bourbon Day is not going to win. Okay. You've got a horse that's run big and wet tracks. You've got a horse that ran a 98 buyer and a 92 buyer in his prior races, and then, as you said, he tried a stake. He didn't have a great break in there. So no, I don't think that the 5 will be favored. If I'm wrong, then I made the wrong choice. It happens. It'll happen a lot today, but I don't agree. I think that the 3 will be favored here. Okay. I'm going to disagree with David. Now, David might say, if I knew it was going to be a sloppy track, I might have made the 3 favored.
That's fair.
And I think that's a fair point.
That's fair.
Even though it was predicted to rain, to be fair. As far as Winstock, we'll take a look at his last race. I don't know. He is moving up quite a bit, and that's the reason I don't think he'll be favored. One horse has been running at higher levels and running big figures. This horse was claimed for $45,000, and he did run big last time out, but he's got to do it here. He has run well in wet tracks, but he's only got the big number last time out. He doesn't have a plethora of big numbers, unlike the 3. That's why I assumed the 3 would be favored. I might be wrong, but I assumed the 3 would be favored.
He's an interesting horse, too, because, it's funny with claiming outfits, like Sandy Goldfarb does, or even like when Brad Cox claims horses as well. They find good horses that had like the potential to go back to good form.
That's what claiming trainers do.
Yeah, and they did a good job with this horse because he found his form again last time out. The mile bothers me a little bit for him. I just wonder if he's a little bit better longer than he is going the mile in this spot. But I have him second in here because I just thought he ran so well last time. I think he could run it back in here, even with going up a little bit in class.
I put him on top over the 3 because I believe that he'd be a bigger price. If I'm wrong about it, then I would have gone 3-5. It's really a price play for me. I know that Film Star is the speed. I think Legree will be close, though. I can't take Film Star. He was terrible. He rode a bias last time and couldn't run. I guess crushed. It's not impossible, but he's going to have to find some back form. The 3 and 5 feel like the 2 horses that will take the bulk of the play.
Yeah, I wonder if Crush It can run a little bit better if he doesn't lose contact. Last time he just kind of lost contact coming out of the chute with the field. So I just wonder. And then he was inside into the turn.
A little bit faster pace.
Yeah, so we'll see what he gets today.
All right, see what happens in race number 2. Race number 3, Heavenly Light is the horse to beat. I agree with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, drops second off the layoff here. Faced better horses, too. And just has the ability to be forward. You pick apart these horses' races last time out. Sassy Princess, Brunchwood Amy, Sassafras, they're better horses, than this group. Pocket Queens even took advantage of the pace that was in front of her in that start. And then Made for Maddie got the jump on her in the race before that. Nilo's Rose was in good form. Just a consistent type horse that has the ability to be forward in a spot in here with a couple of horses that I just don't trust in here and that I've just felt like I've seen enough of the act.
Looks like a heavy favorite to me. The one thing I'll say, and I guess it affects Winstruck too, is that I think Sandy's horses they've cooled off a little bit.
Okay.
Now, nobody's going to win at the kind of percentage they were winning at forever, but they haven't quite been running as well as they were running before that. Maybe it's just one of those things. Things are streaky, but he's a heavy favorite and the horse to beat. But I'm going to go to the JKX Chad Summers claims because this combination does nothing but win. And this is an interesting horse, and as it turns out, he's also run well on a sealed track going back, which doesn't hurt. And this is an operation that wins at a very high percentage, both here and out of town as well. And I'm just going to simply go with them off the claim. It's as simple as that. If anybody wins besides the 3 and 5, I would lose this race. I am not a chocolate fan.
I split with chocolate. I'm always a fan of this horse, and it just does chocolate things, running second. So
it's run fast enough to win this race. I agree.
Logical at different levels for Linda, and it just runs her race every time. It just happens to be second best more times than not in that spot. So I just split them. For me, Kara's Dreamweaver, I guess, deserves another chance, and now especially with the claim by these connections. But, man, she's just a hard horse to take for me. Maybe they'll move her up, but we'll see.
Not for me. Not a hard one for me. We'll see what happens in race number 3. Race number 4, we'll take a look at this one was dramatically affected by scratches. In fact, I had picked the race 3-7, so it changed a lot. Here's Quinn's Silent Roar's last race, and no argument for me. I just don't feel like picking this horse at a super short price.
Yeah, that's what she's going to be. She was wide the entire way last time against the track, although she did improve even with that. Power of Woman wire at the field. We'll see what she can do if she can get the 7 furlongs. I guess that's the only question in her 2 sloppy track races. Okay, they were against better, but she still got beat significantly.
Isn't she going to be like 3 to 5 in here?
Yeah, she's going to end up being super short in here. I do have her on top with what's left in here, and her figures say she is the best of the group, and with the improvement that she had, for me, I had her on top anyway to start in here just because I had the 3 underneath, but I just think she's much the horse to beat here. It's just she's going to be an extremely short price, and I'm not big on extremely short prices. But
I
improved.
picked against her because I did not want to scratch into her as my third choice at what's going to be odds on right now. But I do have no argument with you. She's way the horse to beat. Lee Celtic Ledger has only run once. She came in at the start. She was very awkward. Now after that, she did save ground, so it's not as though she had a bad trip after that. She was in the right part of the racetrack. But I think I'm going to give her one race. She didn't break that well, and I just don't want to take Quinn's Silent Roar at 3 to 5 in this race because it's very hard. Unless the only reason she won't be 3 to 5 is if they bet the Linda Rice first-time starter. But Linda doesn't win that often, and I'll tell you something. I am not impressed what I've seen from Galinian. I've seen people pay a lot of money for the horses from Galinian, but they're not winning.
No, they're not. And when you look at the siblings, they're all turf war. They're horses that have jumped over the jumps. To be honest,
they're just not very good.
Yeah, they're not very good, and that's why I ended up putting. Yeah, that's why I ended up putting Celtic Ledger second. It's funny. I had pulled the stat too for John Terranova, 6 for 29. With a 267 ROI, 15 in the money, second-time starters on the dirt sprinting, 1 for 6 for maiden claimers. So I mean, there were some prices
How many were Killybags captains?
Yeah, there was quite a few that were in there that were that exactly. So none actually, but I'm just saying there were quite a few that were prices as well in there for John. That's what I meant to get at. So I ended up just putting that horse second ahead of the Linda Firster because after the race got kind of taken out with scratches, it was really 4s and everybody else.
All right.
Unless you thought the 2 could run a little bit, but he showed nothing.
Horse has done absolutely no running in 2 races. I agree. I saw nothing I could say about that horse. I mean, you got Manny, but
that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the 5 with the 6 was a more likely winner. It probably a better price. Take a break. We'll come back. The late pick 4.
You bet with Nairobets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Nairobets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Nairobets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Nairobets.
We're back. Paul and Andy, race 5. You split the 8 and 4. I did not. We'll start with the number 8. We both picked Cathedral Isle. We'll show the race 2 back in November. And I'm not trying to beat this horse with Flavian. Are you?
Nah, I'm not either. Looking at her, she dueled it out and duked it out in these 2 starts before she kind of packed it in late. And coming off the break here, drops in class is probably just exactly what she needed. And she's supposed to be up front in this race against this group, and she's probably supposed to win here. Take a look at some horses that have ran against her. Every girl tried the Demoiselle, and then there's some horses that improved their figures coming out of races. So she just faced better horses, and she's going to be forward in a spot where when you look around, there's not much really for me to trust in here. And I'm sorry, I just cannot make Sylvain good luck. I mean, the way that horse ran last time, and Linda claimed the horse, maybe Linda can do something with this horse, but
well,
I don't know. That race was really bad last time.
I agree. We'll take a look at that last race last time. I agree. Horse didn't break that well, but horse didn't do much running, and I agree. I mean, I think you're talking about the horse Cathedral Idol is going to be a huge favorite, and this horse is going to be second choice just because.
Probably because, too, all 3 figs are better than anyone, and Linda now claims this horse, and I don't know. I mean, I know this horse lost footing at the start. It kind of just briefly lost it, but no real excuse after that. I don't think it really affected the horse in the race. So I tried to just split them with Flea because I just think that Flea didn't really have a fair track last time. It was 3 wide, even though the horse kind of moved in late. So I was just kind of splitting hairs.
Right.
With Flea splitting the difference, but it was 8s for me, and 4 was just hard to make after that last race when that horse probably should have won.
I'm not going to argue the 4 was awful last time, but it is Linda off the claim, so I'm not going to be shocked if she improves this horse. The horse was terrible last time. I'm not going to defend that horse's race, but I'm also not going to be surprised when the horse improves for Linda. I will be very surprised if one of the 4 or 8 don't win this race. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not exactly taking a big stand there.
Yeah.
They're going to be the heavy favorites. Race number 6. A few scratches in race number 6. I don't think we lost major players except poor Shipsational, who I was surprised they scrapped Sensational. He's run well in wet tracks before, but maybe there was an issue or something. And we'll start with the horse that you have on top that I scratched into for second. On the lead, Looms Boldly, who has not always run that well on wet tracks, but I think on a wet track where he gets loose,
he's dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah, he's dangerous because that's what his speed will do for him. And listen, he pulled it off last time, almost pulled it off last time too, doing that. So once again, he's in for the 25. He's got speed. He's the inside speed, obviously. We'll see if he can do it again. And he's taken full advantage when he's been able to be in front in spots. So I guess it's a question of what Stewie's going to do on the outside. And I'm not the biggest Stewie fan. I ended up putting the horse 4th because I just kind of feel like in Stewie's case, he has competitive races, but he's always in chase mode, or he's never been able to like establish a front.
Well, he won one race rating. He beat me a nose on a 9-1 shot, so he
Okay.
does.
That's
Otherwise,
fair.
you're right. He can't rate and win.
He just can't. And I just think
I
with
agree.
Lose Boldly in here, he's going to have a problem. And the 5 isn't that
agree.
slow. I don't think the 5's on the lead, but I'm just saying the 5 isn't that slow. So now maybe he's 3 wide, got to go 2 wide. So I wasn't the biggest Stewie fan. And I was kind of, at first I did have the 5 on top earlier in the week.
Stewie's the morning line favorite?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see that.
So I flipped
not
them when I sent
track.
my picks, and I had sent my picks in early before anybody, and I had flipped them and put the 2 on top. But the 2s and the 5s were for me. I just feel like the 5, this is the right level for the 5
I picked
as
him,
well.
so I'll talk about him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's running where he belongs. You look at the last time he ran at this level, he ran a big figure. He's also coming out of a race where he was extremely wide against a gold rail, against horses that he could not compete against, trying to go 7. The time before that, he was chasing wide on a big inside speed track. So he has had massive excuses in his races. You go back to November 1st, well, he's not beating those horses, 3Bs, Ranger, you know. Those horses just better than these, and he's just dropping where he belongs. I don't believe he'll be 8-1. I'm going to disagree with my friend David here. He's got him the longest priced horses remaining. I don't think it's clever what I've come up with, as you pointed out. He's just dropping back to where he belongs. He's been over ambitiously placed. So I thought the 2 would be favored here. I'm not a Stewie fan. Maybe
I'm not
wrong,
either.
but
Yeah,
I'm not a fan.
No, I'm not either because I just don't make him in positions where he can't get. I know he had that, like
He's
you
got
said.
to deal with the
racing.
2. I
Yeah, he's
mean,
gotta
if
deal
the
with
2 falls out of the gate
Yeah.
and he finds himself walking on the front end, but I don't even know, as you say, how much faster he really is than horses like the 5 and even the 7 Brave Bear. So we'll see how it works out.
See how it shakes
But
out
I'm
for
not
him.
betting Stewie to win rating, and you'd have to think he's going to have to win rating, given Looms Boldly is a one-way speed type. So race number 7, we'll start by showing America's Back's last race, and I'm curious why you don't like this horse.
It's not so much that I didn't like him. I had a little bit of a problem with this race, and I guess if it wasn't, for the start, a couple of starts back, he'd be on a 3-in-a-row streak. He had a perfect trip last time, and he drew off, and now he's going to face some tougher horses in here. And I just thought that maybe with the rise in class, he was just going to have a little bit of a problem today. I had a hard time with this race, really, I did. And for me, it was lots of 5s, 6s, and 4s, and I just thought that the 5 and the 6 were just more likely to win than he was. Last time he ran that big figure, but if you take away that figure from him,
I agree. He's too slow to win.
Where has he been? It's high
I agree.
70s or mid to high 70s.
But he ran it last time.
No,
and he
ran.
wasn't carried by the racetrack. I get it. I'm not. I almost went 1-4. My problem with the 1 is he's had a little success rating, but it's been a while. He has not won a race since May of 2024. He's not a winning type. Now, those races were on wet tracks that he won. Mm-hmm. His last 2 wins were on wet tracks. That helps him. I almost went 1-4 here, being a wise guy. I'm going to use both of them in here. I don't really care. I agree. I want to see America's Back run that race back, but I also believe he's a horse that has run very well and has run reasonable races before, and he has a right to improve. I'm not shocked he improved last time. And the other thing is, we show your horse, What's Up, Bro. I don't really trust this guy, but he is a very different horse when he can lead, and he's supposed to be the speed today.
Well, I think the biggest thing for him is he gets away from Yo Banana Boy, because if they're in a race together, things just don't really pan out for him because you know he's going to get pressed. I think today you just let him roll. Like, they got to break running, and if he breaks running, you just let him roll. And I think if he can do that, he's going to be dangerous in this spot against this group, especially if he can get in front of the one and anybody else that may decide to go on a mission.
He's supposed to be in front, but I think that Louis Rivera has to go with the one.
Well, see, that's the thing. So for me, if you're breaking, you got to go. You got to remember, there's no Yo
What's up,
Banana
Rose
Boy, just go.
faster, though?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, I just think it's worth, it's worth giving him a shot in here, especially since he gets away from him. I just think that he can get in front of these and lead them.
You've got Super Swift second. We'll take a look at him. This is 2 races back. My problem with him is I'm not sure he's good enough to win this race, even if he gets back to his good races, the layoffs. And George Weaver's numbers off of 6 to 9 month, 12-month layoffs, they're okay, but they're not great. He wins with favorites.
It's interesting that he was improving from a figure standpoint in every dirt start. And he was facing horses like Soon to Be King and Prince Valiant, who won stakes races. And, Butta has had moments as well. And then they went back to the turf to run that turf race. And obviously he tired and gave way. And obviously he's been off since then. I just think he may fall into a good enough spot being outside of the speed in here. And he may be able to run a little bit. I'd like to give him a chance. I know, facing older, in this spot. But I just thought his dirt races were headed in the right direction before they tried that turf start.
Yeah, I don't think they were bad. I thought he ran okay. I just thought this was a pretty tough field for him to come back when he wouldn't be that big a price. I don't have a problem with your 5. I could see the 5. He's absolutely see what's up pro winning this race. I've always kind of liked him. We'll see if he ends up getting clear. He may just be the speed of the speed. I know in the last race we both picked Tampa Storm. Go ahead.
For me, dropping in class today, and it was against the track in the last 2 starts as well. And for me, he's just got to get past some gate issues that he's had, because he's just, last couple of starts, he's been a little bit slow getting out of there. But being against the track and having no chance in those 2 starts, I know the starts hurt him a little bit, but just the absolute way the track was playing and the trips he pulled just were not going to work out for him. Now drops in class.
Those horses he ran with last time.
Yeah,
you're right. He came out of the gate. He came out at the start, and he slammed into another horse.
Yep, exactly. So I just, putting that all together, I figured he was going to be the price that I kind of wanted to gravitate to in here. Just give him one more chance anyway.
Yeah, and I figured, I think Tinseltown, David's got the 7. We'll get to him, the Brad Cox horse in a second. But I think Tinseltown's the other horse. I would use both of them. I don't have a big preference because he was wide against the track last time, Tinseltown. The time before that, he didn't run great, but he didn't run terribly in there. And relative to the field, I think they're the right horses. David's got the 7 favored, Manhattan Chrome. I guess on the drop down, he should be favored. But, I mean, he was terrible last time. He didn't do any running at all. Why do I want him?
I didn't want him either. I went back and watched the race again, and he was kind of throwing his head around, and maybe he just didn't like have the dirt being slammed into him because he dropped back.
He's dropping them significantly.
See, that's the thing that really bothers me, because you would think they'd want to give him one more chance in a maiden special weight, especially this time of year around here, and that's a give up because the fields aren't large. So you'd think, okay, maybe if he didn't like the kickback or he had some kind of issue with his gait, maybe you want to give him one more chance, let him improve. Now they're just dropping him to 25, and that's a red flag for me.
And I'll tell you something else. If you think he's a horse, and I know you see, the sort of climbing a bit is a sense that it's often kickback. You really want this horse on a wet track?
No,
if he's not a horse that likes kickback?
Yep,
so that's a problem as well.
That's a problem.
Obviously, the 8 has to be respected. It's JKX again, and anytime they have. Now, I don't see them as a first-time starter. It's a second foal. The first foal actually wasn't that bad, and I like the Army Mules. This is one, though, they paid $60,000 for this horse as a weanling. And now they're running for 20, and it's taken him forever to get to the races.
Yeah, that was kind of a little bit of a red flag for me for connections that usually win. I mean, the horse that kind of scares me a little bit is Richie's Love from the rail. That was another long shot I thought was interesting, because I thought if that horse could break running, maybe this horse can get in front in here, because I know he was inside for quite a bit last time where the track was well, and then he kind of shifted out. But he did run early on. He was up close, so maybe he'll show a little bit more improved speed again off that effort. Maybe he gets in front of this group. They get brave sometimes. It's going to be a big price. I just split the 6 and the 2 with the 1, but it was give 6 a chance.
I'm mostly 6 and 2s. You're going to try to get the 1 in there. Paul, thank you. Thank you for watching. Head over to Nairobets. If you're not a member of Nairobets, no better time than the present. Use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match to $200 of your initial deposit. We also have a $15 bonus if you bet 75 or more at Oakland or Turf Paradise. We're showing 5 and 6 from Turf Paradise, by the way, on our show. Cross Country pick 5, 2 here, 3 at Oaklawn. All of those races will be shown on America's Day. You missed that shot. I
I know, I saw you
floated
bank
it in. There was a little bit of a banker, but I floated it in the guard.
I caught it at the
Could be
corner
the
of my
highlight
eye.
of my basketball career. 3 to 6 on FS2, covering all those races in Pick 5 and more. Paul, thank you again. Thanks for watching. Chris Griffin's up next. The reprise, the scratches and changes. Have a great day.
You bet with Nairobets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Nairobets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Nairobets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Nairobets.